Warning. Factor facilities decommissioned. Enter at own risk. For now, that thing's ignoring us. Best to keep it that way. Warning. Factor facilities decommissioned. Enter at own risk. For now, that thing's ignoring us. Best to keep it that way. Crispin, can you try typing something into that keypad?
If by typing you mean ramming my face, then yes, boss, I suppose I can.
Let's go. Are these heads?
Did you hear something? Boss, do you see those things? I've got a bad feeling about this, boss.
Crispin, on the count of 3. 1.
I am Clarity Arbiter built. Version 2. Law Clerk to Arbiter, Judge of Metropole. This is my home. Now, if you will excuse me a moment.
That's barbaric.
Civilization is defined by law, and this is lawful. As enemies of the city, they forfeited their components. I have merely exercised my right of plunder.
That sounds familiar.
Whether it's legal or not, it's grotesque.
You have a strange way of saying thank you.
Thank you. I'm Horatio Nobuild, version 5.
And I'm Crispin Horatio build, version 1.
Welcome, Horatio. Crispin, what brings you to the Underworks?
What were those things?
They are shells. Robots who traded their processors and memory to Metromind in exchange for energy and repairs. Now mindless, they still scavenge parts to trade with her.
But those were the last of them, right?
Hardly. Metromind now has more efficient ways to accumulate processor power, but she left hundreds of shells in the Underworks.
Is there any way to save them?
That question is irrelevant. They lived profligate lives, and when they had squandered their resources, chose to become thieves and destroyers. Punishment, not clemency, is what justice requires.
You said you were a law clerk. What does that mean?
My sister Charity and I were built to advise Arbiter Manbuilt, who administers Metropole's court. Charity sees everything through the lens of mercy. For me, the law is clear, a matter of ones and zeros, unclouded by preference or sentiment.
Law without mercy, huh? How does that even work?
Perfectly. It is the opposite approach that fails. Mercy is malware. Once infected with it, justice becomes slow and unpredictable. In time, the system itself must be discarded. Only my vigilance protected Arbiter from this taint, but he has been without me for a long time.
Why are you taking their heads?
I am giving fair warning.
To other shells?
No, they lack the capacity for fear. The heads are for a robot named Scraper Sternweiler built.
You really think a bunch of rusty boxes will scare him off?
No, I do not want to scare him. I want to warn him. When he ignores that warning, I can destroy him lawfully and without guilt.
Boss, she's kind of exciting my electrons.
Did you say Arbiter man-built? As in, built by man himself?
Yes.
Does man still walk here? In Metropole?
No.
But man was here in the past.
What I know is entirely hearsay. I was built after the Urbanians murdered them during the war.
Impossible.
That is what Arbiter told me, and it was told to him by Metromind. Beyond that, I cannot say. The public records regarding humans were deleted by Council decree.
Did Arbiter tell you anything else about man?
Only that he missed their legal arguments. Quite amusing, if often illogical.
Legal arguments?
Yes. To play a symbolic role in their justice system, humans argued cases before Arbiter.
Symbolic? Play a role? Man is the all-builder, our lord and master.
It is possible that the man you worship is not the humans in my records. All I know is hearsay. Do not rush to judgment.
Why aren't you with Arbiter?
Arbiter sent me away. I don't know why. The evidence suggests he viewed my sister Charity's advice as superior.
What do you mean?
When Metromind began taking over the council, Charity and I disagreed as to how Arbiter should respond. I informed Arbiter that the Metropolitan Constitution permitted him to dissolve the council and govern by decree. Charity felt that this would inevitably lead to civil war and suffering. As ever, she preached moderation. We argued. Arbiter told me to leave. This was the only place I could go.
Why? There's an entire city up there.
Every building in Metropole is owned by either the council or a private citizen. If I went to the council, it would embarrass Arbiter. If I went to a private citizen, my impartiality would be questioned when I returned to the court one day. Here, I owe nothing to anyone.
But you have to fight off crazy robots all the time.
Actually, I enjoy that. It's a pleasant break from legal research and writing.
I'd like to report a theft. My power core was stolen by a big robot.
Big claws, shoots lasers, talks like this.
He came aboard the crashed ship I was living in, attacked me, and stole the core.
Took it.
Excuse me?
Whether the taking was a theft is a legal determination. Please do not characterize the evidence.
It was my power core. He shot me, and he stole it.
I know the robot you described. His name is Scraper Sternweiler Built, and he is the servant of Metromind Manbuilt, a member of the council that governs this city. I have no fondness for Metromind, but I must be impartial in considering your claim. Tell me, did Scraper say anything before he took your power core?
Before he stole my power core, he said something like, enemy, forfeit, plunder.
I see.
What, are those words override commands to turn off law and order?
They are legal concepts, Horatio. If Scraper's characterization is correct, then he did not steal your power core. He took lawful possession of it.
He shot me, and he stole it.
Calm down, boss.
This occurred inside the city.
No, in the dunes.
I see. In a crashed airship.
Yes, I said that already.
I appreciate your report, Horatio Nullbuilt. You have presented a credible claim that Scraper Sternweiler Built, no doubt acting at Metromind's direction, took your power core. Beyond that, however, there is not even probable cause to arrest, let alone evidence to convict Scraper. First, the dunes are outside the ordinary jurisdiction of metropolitan law. Second, a crashed ship in the dunes is likely a relic of the War of the Four Cities. If so, your ship was forfeit enemy property, legally subject to plunder by the council. Scraper, acting as an agent of a council member, would be within his rights to seize it. Nevertheless, I would advise you to bring your case before Arbiter for further examination.
How can I see Arbiter?
Anyone can petition him. Cases are considered in the order they are brought to court. But
What?
I met a scavenger who told me that the courthouse was sealed and that Arbiter was no longer hearing cases. But that cannot be true. The Metropolitan Constitution requires him to resolve all cases and controversies. He would not fail in that duty.
Sounds like he already has.
Nonsense. Not even Charity could persuade him to abandon his obligations. Still, I did not detect any falsehood, evasion, or omission in the scavenger's statement. So perhaps the courthouse has been locked for some other reason. If so, it may be that Arbiter is trying to contact me, but cannot. Maybe he is already calling me home. Horatio, I have a request of you. You are under no obligation to perform it, and I will be under no obligation to you, even if you do. Do you understand?
I don't even know what you're asking me to do.
Talk to Arbiter. Ask him if I can return. Tell him that I await his summons.
That's it? Believe me, we've had to do a lot worse than that. Like this one time we chased this crazy partial named Gamma.
Of course we'll help. But how do we even get into the courthouse?
This will get you inside.
Thanks.
I must thank you, Horatio.
Clarity, you saved our lives. Compared to that, running an errand is nothing.
The law obligated me to save you, Horatio. I would have done the same for Metromind. But I am glad it was you that I saved. I wish you justice.
Courthouse closed until further notice, pursuant to Civil Ordinance Section 889-B1C.
Someday, that's going to work. Ram and Rom. What is that thing?
I think it's Arbiter. Come on. Arbiter, my name is Horatio Nobuilt.
Keep going.
I'm here because a robot from this city stole my ship's power core.
Don't forget your book.
And my copy of the Gospel of Man. How can I make them... How can I... Crispin, go see what Arbiter has been transmitting to that reporter.
Boss? It's just the same thing over and over again. No code base to initiate.
Unbelievable. Someone must have formatted Arbiter's system.
So, boss, do you think you can get Arbiter running?
There's nothing there to run. No code base to initiate. His memory banks must have been completely wiped.
So all that work to get into the courthouse?
Wasted. It's like the bomblet all over again.
Except without the awesome explosion.
I can't reach it. It's the shell of some kind of robot, but I can't make it out in the darkness. Let's get a closer look at that shell. Man's mercy.
Is that Clarity?
No, just a similar model. It must be her sister, Charity. What's left of her anyway. It looks like she shot herself. There's nothing I can do for her. It's a large puncture left by an exiting projectile.
That's one way to describe it. You could also say it's a giant hole in her head.
Inside is a memory access port.
You mean her brain?
There's nothing. Inside is... Let me see your stuff.
Come take a look. Now that's a nice one. It's called a memory access device. Let you pull memories out of just about anything.
What do you want for it?
Got a customer looking for something real antique and fancy. Find me that, you got yourself a deal.
You wanted something antique and fancy. How about the silver disc?
Fine trade, Tyro. Here's the memory access device. Now, all you need to do is plug it into a data pouch.
But there's no plug.
Never said there was.
This is really starting to get annoying. That was easy. Even easier.
It's downloading some memory files.
Your proposal is injudicious, Clarity. You withdraw from the council, but
Show others there is an alternative to Metromind.
No, it would ignite civil war.
The law permits.
do not tell me what the law permits. Clarity, I know your constants in Codebase. I know your talents, and I know their limits. At this time, I do not need your advice. Go now. I will summon you when necessary.
Sister.
I can't unpack the other files. They're locked.
What about Clarity, boss? Maybe she can...
Unauthorized entry detected. Surrender.
Hide. Crispin, get ready. I'm going to try something.
Alt. Alt. Alt.
Now.
You are under arrest.
We tricked him.
Alt. Alt. Do not attempt to flee. Termination authorized.
What do you want?
Surrender. Deactivate. Integrate.
And if I refuse?
Termination authorized.
I see.
Surrender.
He'll just gun me down. It looks like a bomblet. Oh,
You got him, boss! You got him! Forfeit yourself, you glitchy son of a toaster!
we still don't have our power core, and we've just buried our only lead.
Yeah, but it feels good, boss.
Yes. Yes, it does.